Good morning. Today we are doing lesson 2.5a, which is applying the distributive property and combining like terms. 2.5 we're going to split into three different parts. So today we're going to focus on some definitions and this one right here, like terms. So in this expression, it's called an expression and not an equation because there's no equal sign. We're just simplifying. We're not actually trying to figure out what x is. So first, each one of these, x or number, is considered a term. Parts being added or subtracted from each other. So this is a term, this is a term, this is a term. Notice I put the sign that goes with it. This is a term. Okay? So our terms are x, 4, negative 2x, and negative 10. I just listed them out. Like terms are terms with the same variable parts or are just numbers. Okay? So if they have the same variable, another word for a variable is the same letter. So for example, the ones that have the same letter, this x and negative 2x. So x and negative 2x. And our other two that are just numbers, 4 and negative 10. Because if we wanted to, we could combine these together and we could combine those together. Next we have coefficient. Coefficient is the number in front of the variable, of the letter. So our coefficients, if there's nothing here, we can assume this is 1. There's one x there, so that's a coefficient. This one doesn't have a letter, so it's not a coefficient. That's just 4. Coefficient here is a negative 2. And here there's no coefficient because there's no letter. And then last are constant terms. Constant terms are always going to be constant. They're always going to be the same thing. They are numbers without variables, without letters. So 4 is a constant. 4 is constantly going to be 4. It's always going to be 4. Negative 10 is always going to be negative 10. So we're going to focus on our like terms to simplify the expression by combining your like terms. Here we have a 7x plus a negative 11x. This is the same as really 7 plus a negative 11. They both have the same letter, so we can combine them together. So 7 and a negative 11, there are more negatives, so I know my answer is going to be negative. So 11 take away 7 should give me 4, so we have 4x. Negative 4x. Over here, we always like to do our variables first. So we have 2n. We can't combine that with either of these two because neither one has an n. And then we have 5 and 2. 5 plus 2, we can combine those, should give us 7. So this is our answer, 2n plus 7. That is simplified. It did not say solve. We don't know what n is. This is our answer. Next we have 6y minus, if there's no letter or no number there, it's a 1. That's really 1y. So we have a positive 6 and a negative 1. 6 minus 1 is 5, so we have 5y's. That's like saying we have 6 yams. A yam is like a potato. And we're taking away 1 yam. We have 5 yams. Here we have, let's say, whales. We have 7 whales here and 3 whales here. Before I combine them, I know the opposite of a negative makes a positive, so it's just a positive 5. I'm going to combine my letters first. 7 whales plus 3 more in the ocean will give us 10 whales, or 10W. And this plus 5 can't combine with anything, so it's just plus 5. Flip over to the next page. Here I'm going to say we have goats and hogs. So here we have 10 goats, and we're going to subtract 4 goats. 4 died. 10 minus 4 gives us 6. We have 6 goats. And our hogs, like a pig. A -6 and a +5. Combining those together, there are more negatives. There's a -1. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1h. I know in real life you can't really have a negative hog, but we're combining our like terms. Next, we have p, the letter p. We have -1p. If there's no sign there, no, that's a 1. So we have -1, a +4, and over here, be careful, the opposite of a negative is a positive 2p. So if we combine all of our like terms, if I combine all the positives, first 4 plus 2 is 6, but I have to take away 1, minus 1. 6 minus 1 is 5. 5p. If you wrote that out, 6p minus 1p, you can do that, that's fine. 5p. And then this plus 3 we can't do anything with. It gets added on the end. Next, it's down below. Before we even combine our like terms, I see an opposite of a negative that's going to make a positive. I'm going to combine t first. Maybe we have some tarantulas. Here we have 15 tarantulas and a -6 tarantulas, 6 die. 15 minus 6 will give us 9t. I like to put a little curly on the bottom of the t so it doesn't look like a plus. And then we have our r's, our rhinoceroses. 9 plus 7 more were all positive, so add them up. We get a positive 16r. Oftentimes on a test, they like to put these in alphabetical order. Like here we did G before H. Well, that's not in alphabetical order. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Oh yeah, it is. I'm getting confused in my letters. So those were in alphabetical order. Here, P, Q, R, S, T. So the R should have gone first. However, it's really the same answer. If I put 16R plus 9T, we still have 9T and we still have 16R. It doesn't really matter which one comes first, but this would be the best answer. And then the last one, we have 4 yo-yos plus 1 more yo-yo. Remember there's a 1 there. So 4 plus 1 is 5y, but then we have to subtract 6y. I'm just going to rewrite it. 5 minus 6, there's more negatives, so we have a -1y. 6 minus 5 is 1. And then we can't do anything with the 10, so minus 10. Letters, then numbers. All right, next we have a couple questions that said write and simplify an expression for the perimeter. Perimeter is really the distance around an object. So we're really going to add all sides. Just went right through my question there. Really going to add them all up. There we go. So I'm going to start on the left one here. We know this is a rectangle, so this is 4h. The top is also 4h. On the right side, if this is 1h, the left is also 1h. So if we add them up, we can go 4h plus 1h plus 4h plus 1h. They're all h's. 4 plus 1 is 5. 4 plus 1 is 5, so 5 and 5 make a total of 10h. Doesn't matter how you add them, they're all positives. We have 10h. On this side, a little bit more tricky because we have more than one term here. The bottom's 2m, the top is 2m. If the right side's 1m plus 3, the left side is 1m plus 3. So if we write this all out, we have 2m plus this piece, which is 1m plus 3 plus 2m plus 1m plus 3. You can see here's one side, the next side, all 4 sides are there. If you wanted to put these in parentheses for these sides, you could, but there's nothing that you're multiplying it by, so you really don't need to. So if we combine our like terms, 2m, 1m, 2m, 1m, well, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 plus 1 more is 6m. And then we just have 3 and 3, so 3 plus 3 is 6. So our perimeter of this shape, this rectangle, is 6m plus 6. We don't know what m is, so we can't figure out what the actual perimeter would be in terms of a distance. Alright, and next you have your homework. So if you have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, good luck.